مشروع دونالد ترامب الجديد الذي صوت عليه في مجلس النواب قبل أيام، الذي الآن هو على أنظار مجلس الشيوخ للتصويت عليه. تحدثت في العديد من الفيديوهات بخصوصه، شرحت مضامين ذلك المشروع، لكن هناك غضب الآن في أوساط المجتمع الأمريكي، خصوصا الناخبين الجمهوريين أو ما يطلق عليهم بالماغا، يعني الناس الذين يؤيدون جميع قرارات الرئيس الأمريكي دونالد ترامب، الناس التي كانت تدعم دونالد ترامب منذ فترته الرئاسية الأولى إلى غاية دخوله البيت الأبيض في هذه الدورة الثانية. هؤلاء الآن بدأوا يعبرون على غضبهم، خصوصا بعد مشروع القانون الذي طرحه الرئيس الأمريكي والذي تصوت عليه أعضاء مجلس النواب الجمهوريين في مجلس النواب، والذي تم تسريب العديد من الأمور بخصوصه، خصوصا المتعلقة في الشق المتعلق بالبرامج الحكومية التي تنوي الحكومة الأمريكية وحكومة الرئيس الأمريكي دونالد ترامب تقليصها، وخصوصا قسائم الطعام، وخصوصا التأمين الصحي. في هذه الحلقة سوف تلاحظون بأنفسكم آراء الأمريكيين الذين صوتوا على دونالد ترامب والذين الآن استشاطوا غضبا بخصوص هذا القرار. قرار تقليص المساعدات الحكومية المرصودة للتأمين الصحي، بالطبع هذا الأمر سوف يؤثر على الطبقات الفقيرة أو ذوي الدخل المحدود في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، ولن تؤثر على أغنياء الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية ولا على المشرعون الذين مرروا مثل هذه الأمور، لأنه فقط بالنسبة لبرنامج قسائم الطعام شرحت لكم أنه 42 مليون شخص يستفيد من قسائم الطعام، فما بالكم بموضوع التأمين الصحي. التأمين الصحي خصوصا الميديكيد أو الميديكير، هذا برنامج أو تأمين صحي يستفيد منه الأطفال، يستفيد منه النساء، يستفيد منه النساء الحوامل، المرضعات، كبار السن، الناس ذوي الإعاقات وغير المشردون. العديد من الناس تستفيد من مثل هذا البرنامج. ليقترح الآن أن الحكومة الأمريكية تريد تقليص المساعدات المرصودة أو الأموال المرصودة للتأمين الصحي، وذلك لتغطية نفقات الإعفاءات الضريبية التي سوف تستفيد منها كبريات الشركات وأثرياء الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. فالفيديو الآن سوف أترككم مع آراء الأمريكيين بخصوص هذا الأمر، وفي الآخر لكم الحكم على تعليقاتهم. شكرا لكم.
They are cutting Medicare now. In the dark of night, the Republicans added $500 billion in cuts to Medicare. Let me tell you, as someone who's just gone through this with my mother, Medicare is wildly underfunded. The benefits, even with the supplement my mother paid extra for, were horrible. She could barely get out of bed to use the restroom safely without falling, and they would only pay for someone to come over the house 1 hour a week. The only facilities that would actually take her for full-time care had multiple violations for elder care abuse, were disgustingly filthy, and smelled of urine in the lobby. Cutting Medicare is an absolute horror show. It is absolutely cruel. You are talking about the elderly at the end of their life. It is already a horrible program that needs reform and more funding. And they, in the dark of night, added $500 billion worth of cuts. They are giving that money to the billionaires and to the wealthy in tax cuts. They don't care about any of us. They don't care if we go, and they don't care how horrible it is when we do.
My family will be royally screwed if this budget bill gets passed. First things first, my husband works in a nursing home. If Medicare and Medicaid get cut in a rural area in Ohio, what's the likelihood of that nursing home still being a thing once these cuts take effect? On top of that, if this bill got approved, my son will be 14 when these effects take place. My son is disabled. As a 14-year-old boy in the state of Ohio, you get assigned a caseworker that is with you, a social worker, okay, that is with you in high school. And they help you transition into adult life. They help you transition with skills and with therapy, several different factors. And that gets billed to Medicaid. Then we have to factor in the fact that they are trying to create block grants for all the states, which means they give the states one bucket of money and say, here you go, spend it how you need to, okay? And they're just saying, we trust that you're going to spend it this way, which increases the chance for our kids to not have funds for IDEA. You might be thinking, well, you still have rights, you can sue, right? The Republican administration cut half of the Department of Education offices across all states. And these departments help protect civil cases, which means it would take 2 years or more for his case to even be heard. Not completed, heard. AKA, we are not going to have a way to fight back. In the end, people need to face the fact that this is not budget reform. They are trying to erase our most vulnerable population. When we gut protections for our most vulnerable, we are not saving money, we are destroying lives.
Hey, MAGA. Republicans decided last night, early wee hours, to sneak in cuts to Medicare. Not just Medicaid. Now it's Medicare. They just snuck it in. You know why? Because they need money for those tax cuts. That's all they care about. How many people do you know are on Medicare? There's a lot of them. A lot of people with disabilities are going to feel this. Oh, it's happening. It's happening, isn't it? Everything we said was going to happen. I mean, I'm an empathic person, and I do feel something right now for you guys, but...
Let's do some quick math on the big, beautiful budget bill. You're going to cut roughly $1 trillion from people's Medicaid and SNAP benefits, meaning that people will no longer be able to afford healthcare or food, two things you need to live. And in exchange, you're going to make major tax cuts to the wealthy that result in roughly $3.8 trillion added to the national deficit. Why would that be good?
There are many citizens of our country who support what's going on. I don't understand when our country decided that we were going to be those people. When did this happen? Why are we here? Why wouldn't you want to be for the government that wants to help all people? Not take away their ability to see a doctor because they can't afford it. I mean, I know that was always an issue, but now it's an issue. It's going to be an enormous issue. I'm ashamed that this is even a topic, that this is even in a bill, that this is even out there for people to vote on. Why?
America's healthcare system is already on the brink of collapse, but the cuts to Medicaid and Medicare that Republicans have been pushing through the last 2 nights in the middle of the night will cause total chaos. My name is Lex. I'm a nurse. I am quite literally waiting to go inside for my shift this morning, but I really feel like everyone needs a little bit of context as to why this matters and why this is so catastrophic. These cuts, and the cuts are in total over $1 trillion to both Medicaid and Medicare, will cause sheer and utter chaos in our healthcare system. Now, they want to cut over $800 billion to Medicaid alone over the course of 10 years. What does that mean? So that's roughly 10% of Medicaid's budget. Every year, Medicaid has around $800 billion to spend. So if you cut $800 billion in 10 years, that's 10%. Medicaid is the largest reimbursement of nursing homes, okay? Without Medicaid, and any cuts to Medicaid means your grandma and grandpa and your parents are going to be neglected in their nursing homes. And I'm not saying that because the staff is at fault. I'm saying that because when budget is cut, nursing homes cut staff. Right now, today, as I'm making this video, nursing homes are already making nurses take care of 30 to 40 patients. We can't be everywhere at once. Those ratios are about to grow. So A 10% cut to Medicaid does mean that there will be massive neglect in our nursing homes. It also means that some nursing homes are going to shut down completely. And that means that the hospitals you and I rely on, every single hospital in this country is going to have a delay getting people out of the hospital. People are going to sit and wait for discharge because a lot of the folks that come into the hospitals need to discharge to nursing homes, whether it's for rehab or long-term care or whatever. That's not going to happen. They're already full. The nursing homes are already full. Now they're about to get their budget cut. We are not going to be able to move people out of these hospital beds, you guys. And that means catastrophic levels of delays in care for everyone else. I don't know how much clearer I can be. If there are no hospital beds, there are no hospital beds. That means no beds for your car accident. Sorry, you come in with a broken femur and a broken pelvis. If we don't have beds, we're not going to treat you in the parking lot. We legally can't do that. So this is going to affect everybody. Private doctor's offices who primarily take Medicaid patients, if you go to that doctor and you don't have Medicaid, if they shut down, does it matter? Does it matter? Simply put, the disabled and the elderly are going to die because of these cuts. And Republicans know that. They know that. That's why they're doing these votes at 1 in the fucking morning. They know that only 15% of Americans, regardless of political belief, 15% support Medicaid cuts. That is one of the most unpopular policy positions in history. Not to mention all of the rural hospitals who will simply put shut down. A lot of these rural hospitals are almost completely reimbursed by Medicaid and Medicare. If they lose that money, they will shut down. A lot of them are already on the brink of shutting down as it is, which means that rural Americans, small town Americans will have to drive hours to see a doctor. That means death. There's no other way to put this. So I hope that gives some context as to why every single person watching this video needs to be up their elected officials' assholes right now. You need to be calling and calling and calling, emailing. If you live in DC, go knock on that damn door. If you live near one of their offices in your congressional district, go knock on that damn door. We need to be in the streets. We need to be online talking about this. We need to be making as much noise as possible because our elderly deserve better, our disabled folks deserve better, and we deserve better.